This is Shelby from Hill Farms, and I'm here today on a beautiful September afternoon to go over with you what I am planning on planting this fall in my garden. I am in zone 9A, and our first freeze is November 25th through December 13th. That's when we can expect our first freeze. So we have a really long growing season here, which is nice. And I'm a little bit behind on some of my planting dates as far as sowing seeds in the ground, but I think we'll be okay. I'd rather just try it and fail than not do it and wish I had, because sometimes that first frost doesn't come until December. So we are going to be planting soon, and I just kind of wanted to go over a few of the tools that I use, where I order and where I get my seeds from, just how I plan, and then I also wanted to go over really cool kind of a review of the seed kit, one of the seed kits that my mom actually sent me. So I thought that would be fun to go over that for those of you who might be starting a garden for the first time or not really knowing which seeds to order. It's a cool kit. So at the end, I like to go over that. First, I kind of wanted to just go over a couple of the tools that I use when I am planting my garden. One of my favorite nurseries here has like a planting guide, and it's got all of the different seeds and vegetables that you can plant, and your planting date range that you can hopefully safely plant them and get a harvest. And then I also have a little garden planner, and it's got your crops, you look up your first frost date if you're planting for the fall, or you can flip it over and on the back you would look up your last frost date if you're planting for the spring. And it's a really cool little tool to tell you when to plant and expected harvest date. So that's a really cool tool that I use. And as far as where I get my seeds, I get it from a variety of places actually. I love ordering from seed catalogs. There's a lot of really pretty catalogs that are inspiring that will also encourage you to maybe order and plant things that you wouldn't normally plant if you just went to Walmart to the seed section or even your local nursery. So that's fun. And this past 2 years, you might have found that it's difficult to maybe find some of the seeds that you wanted due to the pandemic. So ordering from the catalogs was really useful. However, they did even sell out of some of the catalogs. Some of the seed companies sold out. Another really good resource that a lot of people don't necessarily think of is your local feed store. My local feed store they order seeds, pretty basic varieties of fruits and vegetables, they order them in bulk, and so you can literally go in there and just get a handful or get a larger amount, and it's usually really, really cheap. This is $1, and this is a lot of kale, so that's a good place to consider looking for seeds. And then obviously you can get them at Walmart, or your local hardware store has seeds. One of my very favorite places to get seeds is actually from my own garden. I love seed saving. I have a lot of seeds in my seed box that I have saved for my own garden. There's just a lot of opportunity to save money if you can save them from your own fruits and vegetables out of your own garden. So this year I've got 2 garden plots, one on the north side of my house, which is right back here, and it's shadier. It's partially shaded throughout the day. And that is where I'm going to be planting like my lettuces and my broccoli and the stuff that needs cooler weather or does better in cooler weather. And then I have my west garden, which is over here, that is the bed that I have the garden fabric on, and it is where I will plant my cabbage. And what else did I have down for there? Oh, my Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. So I'll plant those over on that side. But so originally I had not planned to plant too much in either of these beds, and then I started going through my seeds, and it just inspired me to maybe go bigger. Also, just the way our world is going lately and the way the economy is going, and this past year kind of threw everybody for a loop, where you would go to the grocery store and you wouldn't always be able to find exactly what you were looking for. I love the idea of being able to be more self-sufficient and grow more of our food. Not only for the unpredictability, but I know what I'm feeding my plants. I know what's going into the soil, and I know what comes out of the garden when it comes from my own garden. So I love being able to grow my own food for that reason also. And also it's good for our kids to be able to help in the garden and help with the animals and see that our food doesn't just come from the grocery store. And so anyways, there's lots of reasons that we like to do it. So it inspired me to go bigger than I originally had planned this year. And I'm going to plant a lot. Hopefully I'll get a great harvest. But if I don't, then I don't. But if I do, it's certainly better than if I planted nothing at all or very little. So what I've got going in my garden this year, I kind of have it broken down into the different garden beds. First I'll talk about what I'm going to put into my north garden. That's my cooler area. It has more shade. And so I'm going to do, I have several types of kale that I'm going to do. I have dwarf blue curled, dwarf Siberian kale that I'm going to try. It's not, the variety is not labeled, but just the kale that I got from my feed store. Some cilantro. This was a Walmart one, and then I had harvested some cilantro seeds from my garden last year. I'm going to try both of those. Cilantro is probably one of my very favorite vegetables. I can eat it by the bunchful. There's so much that I love it on. I have to grow it, and it definitely does better in cooler weather. And then I had several types of lettuce that I'm going to try. Let's see. I have the black-seeded Simpson, just a sweet salad mix. And this one's from Botanical Interests. This is a red sales lettuce, some broccoli, and some cauliflower. Last year, or I guess the beginning when the pandemic started, I got on eBay and I actually ordered quite a bit of seeds off of eBay. It was some varieties that I couldn't find at the feed store, and I was actually really happy with the seeds that I got off of eBay. The shipping was really cheap and the varieties were good, so far so good with purchasing off of eBay. And then for my west bed, I'm going to grow a bunch of cabbage. I like cabbage. My family doesn't love cabbage. My chickens and my goats really like cabbage, and seeds are so cheap and it's just so easy to grow food, and even if I don't eat it, I know that it's not going to waste and it's feeding my livestock, and takes the burden off the feed bill there a little bit. So I am going to do golden acre cabbage. This is an early golden acre. I think the harvest time is a little bit faster. And it looks like that's all of my cabbage varieties. The last thing I have that would go in my north bed, I accidentally had it in the wrong stack, is spinach, because it's a colder weather crop too. So I have Bloomsdale longstanding, and then I have a double choice hybrid spinach. So that's what I'm going to be trying in my beds. One thing you want to think about before you plant is just preparing your garden beds ahead of time, like what you're going to do to prepare the soil. Whether it be mulching, or if you till, or adding some compost, you would want to make sure that the compost is not hot, that it gets mixed in there. In one of the beds I still have on the fabric, and the other one I'm just going to prepare the soil probably with some mulch over the top. It's not been too long since I composted, so I probably won't add any compost there. And I will probably get to planting maybe this evening or tomorrow. The last thing that I wanted to go over in this video was a little kit that my mom had got me this past year, and it's a seed vault kit by Gardener's Basics, and it's 35 different packages of seeds, and they also give you 35 plant markers with your kit. This would be great for somebody who maybe doesn't necessarily know what you want to plant, or maybe choosing what to plant or what to buy is a little overwhelming. This seed kit was a really neat idea. It was $40, so that's a pretty good value for that many seeds. And they claim to be heirloom and non-GMO, which means that the seeds were produced without genetic engineering under strict testing. So that's a good thing. So just really quickly, I'm going to go over everything that came in the kit. It's 35, so I'm going to go fast. And these are not in any particular order. So we have Swiss chard, bush beans, winter squash, basil, watermelon, zucchini, Roma tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, radish, another variety of radish, sugar pie pumpkins, parsnips, I have never planted those, turnip, bunching onion, crimson spineless okra, romaine lettuce, butter crunch lettuce, black-seeded Simpson, kohlrabi, kale, eggplant, cucumber, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cantaloupe, spinach, lima beans, carrot, broccoli, cauliflower, bell pepper, celery, beets, corn, and peas. So it's a great variety of vegetables. Not all of them would be something you would want to plant this fall, but it would be a great starter kit for somebody just starting to garden. And there is a lot of information always on the back of the seed packets as of when to plant, days to maturity, the depth that you should plant the seeds, how many hours of sunlight, how many days until germination. So there's a whole wealth of information on the back of these seed packets if you're new to gardening, but I would recommend this as a cool starter kit. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day today. It is lovely outside, and happy planting!